Okay. Hi. Oh dear, it's been a busy day. It was our grocery shopping day today. So then, you can never get everything you want at one place. You always have to go here. And we went to Save On first. But their meat, I don't know, they're packaging it different or something. It all looks dark inside these packages and it doesn't even look real. I don't know. So we went to the butcher after that and got some meat that looked real and fresh. Just cut off the whatever it was. So anyway, then we come home and a parcel delivery came. So there was this box and I opened it already, and it's from our subscriber Hannah, and I want to thank Hannah, and she sent this bag and it says the Philippine Jeepin'. So I guess you can go to the Philippines and you can go jeepin'. Looks like fun. Do you know what it reminded me of? Back in the 60s when you had the buses and they were for camping and you could go, they were just little buses, nothing like those things now. That's what it reminded me of. I like that. And inside, now we just had lunch and we had some moringa tea. We got some moringa tea that's also from the Philippines, 100% natural. And we already had moringa tea with our lunch. And you know what? I grew a moringa tree and I took the leaves off and they were bitter. But this is really smooth and nice, very nice. So I don't know what happened to my homemade moringa tree or a different kind of a moringa tree. And then we haven't tasted this yet, but we got some, and thank you, Hannah, some bitter melon tea, also from the Philippines, which I read about, so we have to have that. But then Jack saw the chocolate, and it's already almost gone from the Philippines. It was good chocolate, dark chocolate, not with much sugar. It was only a little tiny bit of sugar in it. And so that's already been gotten into. So, and two nice ones of these cloths. She's the one that sent these dishcloths before because they're so nice. And I like them for just mopping up a little bit of water. But she said, this is Maggie. That is so cute. Stupid dishes. Anyway, thank you again, Hannah. And Joanne, another subscriber, she sent this saucer. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, it's very Asian looking. Let me take the plant off. So I've never seen it and I don't know where she got it. I've never seen them anywhere because you slide this inside. You slide that in this hole and it's set up so that any water drips into that. And you don't have to take and dump the pot. You just take and dump that. What a good do. And if you want humidity, you could just fill this up with water, put it in there, and it will evaporate up through the plant all on its own. I think that's a really good deal. Thank you, Joanne. So, I couldn't wait to share that with you. So I've got the Paloric Orchid here. It is so beautiful. And I'm going to repot it. Now, I'm going to check the bark and see if it's new bark or not. And I like to keep a little bit of the bark because I always say the pillow story. When you go stay at someone's house, you like to take your own pillow. You just need to take a little bit of something from home to make you feel comfortable. So I may just leave some of this bark in with the other bark. So the bark's been soaking, and I have it here. And there's some other discussions we have to have after I do that. So let's have a look here. See what we got. So if anybody wants to, I looked this up. It's www.cosmicplants.com. They have videos on care and instructions, and I'm quite impressed because some of the other ones were a bit, I thought it was okay. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with them. So I haven't done anything with this since I watered it when I first got it. I didn't water it on my watering day, which was yesterday. So it looks so good. So let's have a look at this orchid that is in bark. So the bark on, okay, let's put that over there. I want to make sure there isn't one of those little cups in here. And there might be. Well, this is what I want to see because, yeah, it's the first time I had one of those things. And I hear about them from everybody. And it's where the little seeds started. And this bark is still good. And my bark's a little bigger than this, is pretty fine. And it's been there a while. It feels, and it looks like that. So it looks quite small, but there is one of those things in here. And if it's got moss in it, I don't want it in there because, oh, it's a peat plug. It's all, okay, let me push the bark down there. Now, I've never had one of these before, but there is a little peat plug in here. And there, see that? So it's no plastic on the outside at all, like some of the other ones. And the plant just grew out, and it had that little bit of peat around it. But I'm going to take that out of there because it doesn't need it anymore. And yes, there's no plastic on this one. But it feels like sponge. The roots, now the roots, when I have bark sticking to my roots, I do not pick it off. They do not like to be, if they're stuck on something, they like to stay stuck on something. Now the plastic, you can see, they grew flat where they were against the plastic of the outside of the container, but they weren't real stuck. And way in the center here was the peat pot. And I'm not worried. I think I got most of it. And so you can see the outside roots that were getting lighter green, because in the greenhouse they wouldn't have had it in that outside pot that it came in. Right now that pot has paint in because I have to paint the trim on the patio before the walls and ceiling are done. So you can see the roots on the inside are white, and the ones on the outside that were getting light, but they're perfectly fine. I see no rotten roots. That is awesome. That never happens when I buy a plant. I'm so excited about the bark, because it was better to go dry than it was to go too wet. And that's the sample. If you have trouble and you're getting rotten roots, it's because you're too wet and you have to water less often. So I noticed on their site too, they said you can soak it for no more than 10 minutes. And that's about what I do. Sometimes it might reach to 15. But I'm not even going to bother washing it off. It looks pretty good. I got that peat out of there just because I feel better about it. There. Now I'm going to push that to the side. And then I got my pot, and I think it'll fit really nice in here. Okay, so I see nothing I have to cut off. A couple dry roots on the top. I put my scissors on the flame. So because this is real dry, I'll take this one off. And over here, there is a real dry one right here. I'm going to take that one off. And over here, there's one that, I'm going to take that one off. It has so many nice roots. And there's one over here, this one. I think I'll take that off. Normally, you don't see me cutting. I just pull them because when they come in moss, they're just soft and gooey because they've gone, and I just pull them off the string. These are all beautiful. So, and here's one here. This one here, because it's got so many good roots, I'm going to take this one off too, right there. So, there, that's looking good. So now I've got my bark soaking here. I'm going to put this bark to the side. And I'll put my bark here, and I'll just show you the difference here. Put you there. Okay. This is Rexius fir bark medium. And this is what it's in. So yeah, it is pretty broke down. So I think I'll probably put a little in the pot, but not much. Maybe just at the top. So first I'm going to put some in the bottom. All I'm using is bark. And then sometimes when you got something like this, you have to kind of twist it to get all those roots happy. That looks pretty good. I'm going to let that one there. If I can sort of, there's one here that bent. I'm going to bend this one too. Sometimes I like aerial roots, but sometimes if they got a few cracks in them and they're older ones, and if you don't like aerial roots, you can manage to sort of leave them on the top area and just put them around the pot. There's another little piece I'll cut off in a minute right there. So now we're ready to it's beautiful. I really like it. Doesn't it look, it's just so different and with so many flowers. So because there's so many roots, this bark has to be shook down really nice in between all those roots. When I pick my bark out, I've got a huge big sack, half the size of me, out in the greenhouse. So I just take the pot that I'm going to use and fill that, because I used to kind of guess and I always guess wrong. So if nothing else, I have a little more, and a little more is a good thing because I do have some that need some bark on the surface. So the only water this is getting now until my next watering day. I won't water it halfway because it hasn't been in moss. If it had been in moss, I would have kept that bark a little wetter for a couple months. Like, this is the last little pot I picked up, this one. It had come in moss, and I'd switched it to bark, and I did videos where I checked it every time to make sure it wasn't too wet when I was watering it twice a week, because it's not something I usually do. But now, I've still been giving it a little bit of water twice a week, but I see good things happening. There is a little new root coming there. Well, it's an old root with a new growing tip. And I haven't checked in the pot for a while, but it looks very happy. And I will probably be switching it now. It's probably been a couple months at most. I'll probably start watering it with my normal once a week. Till summer when it's hot. And believe me, it's not hot yet. This is a very slow spring for us. We have very cool weather still. There's the tiniest little leaf down here, and it's from when it first started. It's been well looked after. So I like to get all this bark in here, between all those holes. So that was a peat plug. You know, some of them I've seen are plastic and they kind of, hi Maggie, hi. I know, were you a good girl out there? Oh, she's playing, she thinks it's treat time. There's no treats right now. No, you've been rolling on the grass, I can see that. Now what I want to do is just pick this up and shake it down. I don't mind having it a little high in the pot. And I'm going to use my fingers to push that bark way inside. We'll be very happy. It's so exciting, but you know, they're a hardware store that don't normally have orchids. They had a lot of orchids, so I don't need any more, but boy, if anybody does and you live near here, you should go try one. They had all kinds of big ones, like my other ones, but only reason I bought one is because they were so cheap for here, but I hear these stories of the prices you guys are paying down in the States. I could cry. I could cry. Okay. I know. But this is my baby. And it's happy. And I want to keep it happy, as you guys do. So the worst thing you can do if you're having trouble is make sure you don't give it too much water. It probably doesn't need any moss. It's probably quite happy even with just bark or just like a rock or just something. I like the bark because you do get some natural good bugs along with it as the bark deteriorates. So I do like that. I do like the bark. If I couldn't get it in a bag, I'd have to go out in the woods, hunt it and cook it. So I think we're good. It's pretty full because I'll give you a close-up after of that cute little leaf. Yeah, I think we did good. Now, if we just take some of this bark that it had on the top, just a little sprinkle, a little of what it's used to. So I think that was the perfect situation. So it will sit on its little saucer I got from Joanne. We'll get cleaned up, and there's not much bark. Even though there was a lot of roots, I used all that bark. There's a few little pieces left in here. Other than the ones, you should see the floor, I should show you, but I know I'm always messy. So there, now what else I want to talk to you about, if you remember, I did this experiment with the plastic pots. And I have learned something, and I'm not checking in there yet, but one day we'll have a look. But as you can see, there's no sign of any blossoms dropping. It seems happy. The color of these leaves is dark green, and yet it still is healthy and flowered good. The leaves have not gone limp, so it seems quite happy. But I would not go any smaller than that one. Even bigger would be better, and I'll tell you why. This one is way too small, and as soon as I find another pot like this one, I'm going to put it in a bigger one. And the reason I say that, I was watering it and it fell right out. But you know what I noticed? And this is pretty interesting. One of the old roots, and when I had it in my bark over there, I hadn't noticed at the time when we put this in, there was no new roots starting. One of the old roots had a little green sprout because it all came out when I was watering it, because it didn't have a lot of roots that were any good at all. And it had that, looks like it's going to have a terminal spike. It had that long funnel shape there. But I'm going to see if I can find another plastic bottle and pull this out and put it in a bigger one, because this is a tipsy. It worked good. We stuck this thing in the top and I hang it from that. But it's just, I think it would be better in one the same. So trying to find one again, that'll be interesting. So that is about it, and thanks for joining me, and I'm going to send this video out to you right now. Thanks very much. Bye.